This segment is brought to you by DC Black Pride. Black Pride is freedom.
Absolutely, it is. And hi, thank you for joining us today, Kenya.
Hey, the way you gonna put that with that tagline was fits perfectly into the conversation, right into us. Yeah, that was good.
Absolutely.
See,
Glad.
foresight.
Thank you for noticing. And I just, for those who don't know, Black Pride is Freedom is actually the theme for this year's event. So we're gonna definitely get into that. But for our audience, why don't you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are at Center for Black Equity and the work that you guys do as it pertains to Black Pride.
Sure. So my name is Hutton. I am the current president and CEO of the Center for Black Equity. I became president and CEO in August of last year. Center for Black Equity was founded back in 1999 as the International Federation of Black Prides, which then changed its name in 2012 after seeing, the work we were doing expanded beyond beyond Pride and really started to dive into more activism. So we changed the name to Center for Black Equity. This is our 26th year of organization, but for DC Black Pride, it's always been the home of DC Black Pride, being the organizer for DC Black Pride since its inception, which started here in DC in 1991 as the first Black Pride in the world.
Excellent, absolutely. And, specifically as it pertains to with the Center for Black Equity, what are some of the different initiatives that you guys are doing that pertains to support for Black and Brown queer communities?
Sure. So we do a number of things. So one thing we believe is that, Black Prides are safe spaces, right? Especially now when a lot of our safe spaces are being destroyed. We work and make sure those spaces are maintained and sustained and can be here for generations to come. In addition, we are advocate for health equity, racial equity, financial equity for Black and Brown queer people. We have a huge health initiative. A lot of our work is really focused around health, making sure that Black and Brown queer folk globally, right, not just here in DC, not just in the United States, but globally have access to appropriate health care to take care of their needs. And it goes beyond HIV, right? We talk about mental health, cardiovascular health, HIV, sexual health, of course. We really try to advocate and create spaces so that communities can really be able to take care of themselves.
That's excellent. Kind of two of a segue question, one thing I want to touch on while we're talking about it, why is it important to kind of incorporate that educational perspective in the celebration of DC Black Pride, talking about healthcare and all that stuff?
I think it's important because, especially as it comes to DC Black Pride, and I've been doing DC Black Pride itself for 16 years. And what I've noticed is that, sometimes individuals come from parts of the country where they don't feel comfortable or have access to appropriate health care. And when they come to, or their only time getting an HIV test, for instance, is when they go to a Pride event, right? That's the only time they get access to those things. So one thing we do at DC Black Pride is we have a health and wellness pavilion where, regardless of where you come from, you get access to HIV testing, DoxyPep, you get access to vaccines, COVID vaccines, Mpox vaccines. You can get therapy, you can get massages, you can get facials, you can get your blood pressure checks, your glucose checks, everything, because it's important, because you have to, it's especially right now, right? A lot of us live in spaces where there are food deserts, where individuals aren't able to get access to the health care or the food that they need to really maintain their health, to really try to create that space for communities. And also educate folks, right? I think it's very important to let folks know about the history of DC Black Pride, history of Pride in general, and why we really started, why DC Black Pride really became a thing. And even though it started as an opportunity to raise funds for community members that was being affected by HIV and AIDS back in the 90s, it has grown into a space of advocacy all around, and a declaration, which is why our theme this year was Black Pride is Freedom. We had a different theme last year that we thought we were going to do, but then with the direction that the current political and social climate is going, we switched our name to Black Pride is Freedom as a declaration that we are going to be free. We're not going in the closet. We're not going away. We're going to live authentically, freely, as our right as human beings and tax-paying citizens.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that full circle history roundup, bringing it back to this year. And it's extremely important. And, before we dive strictly into DC Black Pride, you and I had a conversation where you essentially told me, you built yourself up to your role as president of the Center for Black Equity. And so, with your various roles and contributions, how has it been a kind of a pivotal impact in your own life, being a part of something so instrumental?
Yeah, I tell folks a lot that very early on, I wanted to create a world that my nieces and nephews and other generations behind me, that they don't have to go through things that I went through, right? I navigated so many pitfalls that where I shouldn't be where I'm at today. But by but the power, the higher power had a different path for me. They wanted me to be here. And I've been really thinking about it this week as we have been gearing up for DC Black Pride, and also hearing the news and seeing what's going on, that I have been given a charge, right, to create this space for not just future generations, but this generation today, right? Creating that safe space. If I was not able to create and fight for access and resources to create safe space for folks in DC, where would all these people that are in the streets right now? And I keep on looking at my window because I can see people walking around. And it's also beautiful just to see just Black queer love just being walking down the street. So I'm always like looking, right? But if I was able to do that, where would we go? We would be able to come together and find joy in a time when the world is so harsh, so much bad news. Find just a few days for us to be able to experience, joy, right? Queer Black joy in a time is important. So I think, just really leaning into that this is my job. This is what the direction of the laid in front of me. This is what I'm here to do, and really owning it and falling into that. And starting, I started off, my first interaction with the Center for Black Equity was bartending at the event, right, where they had the name change, right? I was in the middle of jobs, and a friend of mine, hey, we need a bartender. He knew I was bartending. He said, we need a bartender to serve some beer and wine. I was like, sure, I'll do it, for a couple of dollars. And then from that moment was my first actual interaction with the Center for Black Equity, to now being the president and CEO of the organization. It really is great to be here and be, advocating and creating spaces for us, not just for gay men, but for, queer folks, and not just for queer folks, right? I think that's something I need to want to make sure that all the listeners and viewers understand, is that this fight for gay rights is fight for all of our rights, right? We're fighting for women's rights, men's rights, seniors, youth. We're fighting for everybody, because us in the queer community, we live at these intersections. I'm not just a gay man. I'm a Black gay man, right? Folks in my community are Black gay women, right? They're Black gay youth, Black gay seniors. So we're fighting for all of our rights at the same time while fighting for queer rights. So I think folks need to also realize that, and not allow them to segment us, and realize that we are not, these single lens people. We have a variety of issues that we deal with. We are intersectional. So when we're fighting for these rights, we're fighting for all of our rights all at the same time, as we're out here trying to enjoy ourselves and find joy at the same time.
That's a beautiful point, Kenny, and I'm glad you pitched that out for, our audiences to know that this isn't just for the Black queer community, but essentially a broader, message is behind it. And that's evident in some of the events that you guys have, that you guys are, you're doing that diasporic reach, even a global reach. So can you tell us about, some of the different highlights that we can look forward to for DC Black Pride?
Sure, absolutely. So I'll say last night, which was interesting, we had our pre-Black Pride kickoff last night, which was the Unity Ball. We went together the ballroom house in the area to have a free event, and it was jam-packed. We had over 1,000 people. It was to capacity. Tonight, we're having the opening reception, which is free. However, we are actually currently sold out on tickets. We are sold out on tickets, which is great. Which just tells me that, yes, people are here, people are interested, people want to come, right? We are going to be doing a limited amount of pre-sale tickets starting at 2:00, because I always build in a little extra bubble. So we'll be doing that between 2 to 5. Doors open at 5, show starts at 7. Our headliner is Iniko, who goes by they, them pronouns. Black queer, we have T.S. Madison, Monroe Elise. We have Carrie Colby, who is on RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star Season 10. That's airing tonight. It's her premiere episode. Anthony Oaks, Apple Ron Betty, Heather Mahogany, Lyrical Monara, Lupita Leonard, Ink, Bang Garson. Some people not even on the flyer. Billy the Goat, Eva Marcel from America's Top Models come by. We have a star-studded stage, again, free of charge, right? Because I believe if you spend money to come to DC, which is not the cheapest place to be, right? You pay money to get here, you pay for a hotel room. As a thank you for coming to DC, we want to give you something free. So this is kicking off tonight. And then tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we start our series of workshops where we're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about raising a Black queer child, like self-care as a parent of a Black queer child, right? We have a DC Black Trans Pride. We have women's conversation. We have conversations with everybody. We have the first deaf and blind journalist is going to be doing a workshop about what his struggles was like. We have so many things going on tomorrow. Then we have our health and wellness pavilion, which I mentioned earlier, which is going to be an array of healthcare services. It's open again, all free of charge. And then we'll close out the day tomorrow with our Mary Bowman Poetry Slam, where we're bringing together poets from around the country to come and compete for cash prizes, which is always great. Jam-packed event. And then on Sunday, we have our interfaith service, where 11 affirming churches come together to create a space for spirituality and connection, especially after all the partying this week, and some of you need to just ground yourself. So we have that. It's also going to be, and all of this I'm talking about is hosted at the Host Hotel, the Capitol Hilton, 1016th Street Northwest. And then right after that, at Hook Hall, we're having a Babes and Brunch fundraiser where we raise funds to go to another or a different organization. Last year, we donated to the LGBTQ Suicide Prevention Coalition. And this year we have, current Miss Continental Raquel Lord, former Miss Continental Sasha Garson, from RuPaul Drag Race Akira Davenport, Baltimore Queen Maya Dubois, Miss Black Pride International Soraya Sinclair, DC drag icon Shaquita Lee, DC drag legend Haven Garcon, Paris, all amazing talent we're bringing you. And again, every dollar gets donated to an organization here in the area. And then we spin off, right? Because this is World Pride, so we can't just have all the Black stuff in one weekend, right? We spin off to on May 27th, 28th, 29th, we have the Black Queer, with the first inaugural World Pride Black Queer Film Festival. That's going to be hosted on Howard University's campus, which I think is significant, hosting that on an HBCU such as Howard. And then right after that, June 4th, 5th, and 6th, we're having the Community Conversation Summit, which is going to be a space where community members can come talk. You might not be able to afford or have the opportunity to go to a human rights conference, but in the evening from 6 to 9, you'll be able to come and get some of those impactful conversations, be able to meet some of the movers and shakers and really get filled and energized to be able to go back out and do the fight that we need everybody to be able to do to get us through the next couple of years.
Excellent. I mean, it's a fun-filled pack, and I love that you guys do have that pre and post connection with these different events, getting people involved throughout the entirety of the month.
Absolutely.
So that's excellent. And, what are some of your own personal favorite events? And, what do you hope people could take away from their first or their 34th DC Black Pride?
Yeah, so definitely the Unity Ball. Open reception is always my big event that I'm always excited about because it's really getting a chance to celebrate community, right? We get to honor folks. We get to have all these celebrities come in for us, not for anything else, but for us. And it's great. Also, another thing is, this year BET was able to collaborate with BET to host the Black and Iconic Soiree, which is going to be tonight. It's an event really honoring Black queer celebrities. So I want people to walk away. If this is your first time, realize that you are connected to a community that is so wide and vast and diverse. Even if the area you're coming from, you may not see a Black queer community there. There is a community that you're connected to just by being Black and queer. When you come to DC, you'll see that. You'll see the folks, like I said, walking down the street, right? I tell folks, if it's your first time and you're not sure, you come in, you're gonna probably walk away with a gay auntie or a gay uncle or someone that'll help you, and always be okay with having a conversation with folks, which is why we have our workshops, because we want people to realize that there's some people out here that either have gone through or are going through some of the things that you're going through and can really help navigate this space so you don't have to go through the pitfalls we did. And if it's your 34th, thank you for coming back. We're going to keep on going strong, and we're going to be here for another 34 years. So we want everybody to come and enjoy themselves.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kenya. Is there anything else? We're going to put DC Black Pride links at the bottom of the screen so people can get involved in these events and learn about what's going on. Is there anything else you want our audiences to know about DC Black Pride?
We're here. We're queer. We're not going anywhere. I feel like they say that all the time, but it's even more important right now. You want to have a good time. You don't have to be gay. You don't have to be a lesbian. You don't have to be trans. You don't have to be Black to come to DC Black Pride. We are welcoming to everybody, as folks do, right? As we do. We are open and welcome to everybody. You come. You want to be part of our environment. You want to try our food. You want to dance to our music. You want to learn about our culture. this is a space for you. Come on in, sit in a room, get fed, right? Not just with your belly, but just get your soul fed. Right here at DC Black Pride, with you every year, and this year is going to be off the charts.
Awesome, Kenya. Well, we here at The Informer look forward to keeping up with all the events that are going on this weekend and just in general. And thank you so much for the work that you're doing as president of the Center for Black Equity to ensure that these spaces continue to not just survive, but thrive in DC and beyond.
Survive, not just survive, but thrive. That's my line. There you go.
Yes, it is. I hope you guys plug that in directly from you. Awesome. Have a great day and have a great weekend, Kenya.
You as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This segment was brought to you by DC Black Pride. Black Pride is freedom.
Where did you come to get off?